Here in Las Vegas, we're down to the last 8 players in the Party Poker US Open. Mandalay Bay is playing host to over 250 players, and with a staggering number of matches completed, we now have the quarterfinal lineup. The round of the last 16 opened with a bang as the defending champion fell in the opening match. Jason Shaw was up against the world number 1 Joshua Filler. The German made the most of every opportunity and is the first man into the quarterfinals. Spain's Francisco Sanchez Ruiz stunned Ko Ping Chung with an 11-4 victory in the second match of the day. The result takes Ruiz into the quarterfinals. Jeffrey De Luna saw off England's Imran Majid. The Filipino had trailed for most of the match, but from 8-5 down found a winning formula to win 6 of the following 7 racks. Alex Pagulayan, the 2005 US Open champion, defeated Aloysius Yap. Most had written off Pagulayan, but he staged a remarkable comeback. Xu Kai Lu grabbed a 6-1 lead over Liu Hai Tao, but then the fight back came. It looked to be in vain, but a final surge saw the World Cup of Pool winner take the last 5 racks and a place in the next round. In our last match of the day, Chang Yu Lang dominated from start to finish, allowing Jeffrey Ignacio just 3 racks out of 14 played. Luck played its part, but ultimately Chang was in charge throughout and is into the quarterfinals. Day 5 started with Xu Juian against Wang Can. The battle raged back and forth, but Wang somehow managed to stay ahead and in the second half surged through to claim the win. Hometown expectations were sky high with the appearance of Shane Van Boning. 5 times he's won this title, but a 6th was beyond his reach in this year's competition. Wu Jiaqing recovered from losing the opening 2 racks to dominate the early exchanges, but the real turning point came when the American missed a crucial 9, and the dream of that 6th title was ended. World number 1 Joshua Filler opens our quarterfinal lineup with his match against Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. Jeffrey De Luna takes on Alex Pagulayan, and then in our second session, Liu Hai Tao plays Chang Yu Lung, and finally Wang Can will meet Wu Jiaqing for a place in the semi-finals of the Party Poker US Open. Time then for our opening match and time to meet the players.
I had to play against the defending champion Jason Shaw. I really played good. So it feels pretty good. I played a bad position on the 9 ball, so I was thinking about to play safe or go for the shot, and then I decided to play the bank shot and I made it. So I didn't expect this, but you know, it's unbelievable.
I know it's gonna be a tough match because he's world champion. So I believe in my game, I stay focused in my game. Yeah, we play a lot of time, so too many times 9-8 in the hill, so it's gonna be a funny game.
A tense start to this quarterfinal saw Filler come up dry from the break. A bout of safety play ended with a miss from Ruiz. Filler, ball in hand, cleared to claim the first. The second looked to fall to Filler after his break, but the layout proved elusive and Ruiz had his chance. However, a missed 5 ball once again handed the advantage to the German, who doubled his lead. In the third, a familiar pattern developed. The break didn't provide an opening for Filler, who played safe. Ruiz with the foul gave Filler the ball in hand, and the run-out was a formality. This is now the 4th. Commentary from Ted Lerner and Michael McMullen.
Welcome back to the last 16 of the US Open, where the world champion Joshua Filler is off to a flying start against Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. He leads by 3 racks to 0. Sanchez Ruiz going out for a bit of a break there, Ted, and you would think he would have needed to give himself a bit of a talking to.
3-0, Mr. Filler.
A little early in the match for a bathroom break, but that's what players who are down tend to do. They get up, leave the arena, try to break the negative vibe, but it's not going to work at this point.
Well, Filler's getting better at the break. Dry in the first rack, 1 ball down in the second, 2 in the third, and now 3 in the fourth.
Hold the clock for a second, please. Ladies and gentlemen, can you settle a little, please? Thank you. Start the clock, please.
So a shot on the 2. The 3 out there, this is a textbook break from Joshua Filler.
He might not get to put it into practice for a while, Ted, but what do you think Sanchez Ruiz will be saying to himself about what he needs to do to turn himself around mentally? Because he seems to have gone to pieces early on here.
Well, he's got to just be patient and wait for one opening. But the thing is that when that opening comes, as I said in the beginning, when Joshua broke dry, at every chance he gets, he's got to put a package on Filler. And what we mean by that package is you string racks together. It's a winner breaks format, so you keep your opponent in the chair while you keep shooting, keep putting points on the board, because inevitably there's going to be flubs and mistakes that are going to send you back to your chair. But so you've got to put those packages on your opponent. There is no sign that that's going to happen right now.
Well, it's been a story of mistakes from the Spaniard so far. Nothing he could have done about that, though. Filler potted 3 balls off the break, and it's his first break and run out of the match.
Thank you.
He leads 4-0.
Look at this. The 1 goes down, and so does the 5 ball. And we'll have a look at this too.
It's a very acute cut, but looking where the 3 is, he doesn't really have to think about position at all, so he can put everything into the cut.
It's a very aggressive play there, and it got him position for the red 3, and, well, pick up the pen, get ready to mark that point on the German side.
We talked there about the tough run he had to the World 9-ball title. Well, the run he's had through this tournament, it's been hard going as well. Lost to Su Kai Lun. That put him in the losers bracket. But between the losers bracket and the 1 match he's already played in the single elimination stage, look at the last 4 players he's beaten. Alex Kazakis, Albin Ochan, well, there's 2 of Europe's finest right there. Petri Mäkinen, who's won the World Cup with Finland. And then, of course, Jason Shaw yesterday. Now, if that doesn't send you into the quarterfinal full of confidence, Ted, nothing will.
That's a lineup of top players right there. Ochan and Kazakis. Kazakis number 2. Filler, of course, the world number 1 right now.
And we're seeing why. Anyone who's ever played Q Sports will know this is just the best feeling when you're out there, everything's going your way, and you're just in total control. You want the match to go on forever. But on this occasion, it looks like we could be in for quite a short contest, because Filler, in just a couple of moments' time, is already going to be almost halfway to being the first semi-finalist.
There are people in the game who say that he could be the most sensational talent to come along in many, many years. And one of those who is saying that, Darren Appleton, a 2-time U.S. Open champion, a 3-time world champion, who happens to be sitting in the front row of this match.
And after Imran Majid's defeat yesterday, Appleton will remain the only English winner of this US Open. Joshua Filler might be taking the title back to Germany.
Welcome back to Las Vegas for the quarterfinals of the 2019 US Open. It's world number 1 Joshua Filler up against Spain's Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. The German took the opening 5 racks and broke in the 6th. It was a straightforward break, and a run-out put Ruiz under real pressure at 6-0. This is now the 7th.
And another good break, but is the 3 going to intervene? Now, has the 3 run into his path to the 2 there? That question could actually hold the key to this whole rack.
Push out.
So he can't see the 2 ball, so calls a push out.
So you have the option.
Well, he has the option, Ruiz does, to take this shot or to give it back. And he's faced with the chance to go offensive or to play safe. Does he want to let Filler have the shot, or does he want to try to make something happen on his own? I think he's going to shoot here.
Well, he might want to make something happen because he's been sitting down for the last 3 racks.
Clock,
Wow.
I think he's getting comfortable in that chair. He just wants to go back to it. What do you think of that decision, Ted?
That's personal preference from Ruiz. He just didn't like what the shot had to offer. Well, now the 9 ball comes into play. He very nearly made that 9 ball, but Ruiz is probably going to have a crack at it.
Well, he's got to, really, hasn't he? As we said, he's got to try and make something happen.
It's laid out perfectly for him. The cut on the 2,
Extension,
the
please.
9 is right in the pocket. So will this be a good call to turn down the shot from Ruiz to get one on the board quickly?
Quite a bit of distance between the balls here. That makes it much tougher.
Oh, that is... Boy, he is all out of sorts. He knows he should have had that. I mean, it's not the easiest shot in the world, but still, with the 9 ball sitting right there, he overhit that.
Well, put it this way, it's not like he only just missed it.
Well, Joshua's left him another crack at the 2 ball.
"27 years of age, Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. He knows his way around a US Open. He lost to Jason Shaw for a place in the final of the last one, and then had a chance to face Shaw again in the final. Went over to the loser's side. If he'd beaten Clenty Catchy, he would have been in the final, but he lost 11-7, so finished 3rd. Well, he's on the 3, but not in the position he would have wanted to be at all in terms of getting on the 4. Needs to pull out a good shot here, and when he's been sitting in his chair for most of the last few racks, this is going to take some doing.
That was well done. That's good to see him stroke the ball well. And hopefully he can get out to take off that goose egg off the board.
I don't think we really want to see anyone going down 11-0 when they come out and play on this big stage.
That's correct. We always like to see these guys perform at their highest because it is so thrilling to watch the absolute precision on display.
A positional shot to get on the 4. We'll just give him a bit of encouragement. Just remind him, he's not a bad player either.
So there's a well-played rack from the Spaniard.
And he's off and running at last. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz gets himself on the scoreboard, but he's still got so much work to do because he trails 6-1. Funny to think we're watching the last two Europeans left in the US Open, and neither of them was on the European team last year.
Well, that's interesting for Filler because there's a point system, and he didn't make it in off the point system. The two picks that Marcus Chamad had for the wild cards, well, to be fair, Filler didn't have the most amazing year. He had a good year, but there were other players that had better years, and that's why he didn't make it. Now, what he did was, because he wanted to make the Mosconi Cup team so bad, he had been practicing so much that practice that he put in, that effort and that work that he had put in for one straight year actually paid off in his campaign in the end of 2018 and going into 2019. I mean, he won the World 9-Ball Championship for his first world title.
It was the biggest of 4 titles of various sorts that he won in 2018.
Well, he is certainly expected to be back on the Mosconi this year in Vegas, is Filler.
So we've seen Sanchez Ruiz's break for the first time in the match. He's potted 2 balls off it, but has he got a shape to pot the 3?
Certainly looks like he does.
He wasn't convinced. The highlight of Filler's year so far, perhaps, has been winning the Predator Grand Finale in New York in January. I suspect when 2019 ends, we'll be looking back on some even bigger moments for him.
A very aggressive play. He might actually get it on the other end. No. Well, Ruiz can take on this bank and possibly get another one on the board. Rolled a little bit too far. And because of that, he has to play safe. Very nice safe, marrying it up against the 8-ball.
These players guaranteed $6,250 for reaching this quarterfinal stage. That goes up to $12,000 minimum guarantee for the winner. And a chance to progress from there to $25,000 for the runner-up. And the $50,000 check for the US Open champion tomorrow.
Very nice job from Filler to hit that. But he has left on a long one for Ruiz. Starting to get into a little rhythm.
Yeah, would have liked to have come a bit further on this 5, though.
Extension, please.
Well, it's all about position after the pot. The green 6 back up table.
Ah, that's an excellent shot. Had a bit of recovery work to do there. Just looking a bit more settled now. He looked all at sea mentally.
Yes, he's not panicking. It was all going south earlier. Oh, that's not ideal, is it?
Yeah, he's making this hard for himself. And the way he's playing some of these positional shots would suggest there's still quite a bit of tension in the cue arm.
Well, he has to get out here because this could be the match. Nice.
So he waited a long time to win a rack in this match. But now 2 have come along at once. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz is back to 6-2 down against Joshua Filler.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome back to the 2019 US Open, and here at the Mandalay Bay, the quarterfinals are shaping up. In the opening match, German Joshua Filler has dominated the early exchanges, winning 6 straight racks. Spain's Ruiz hit back in the 7th and 8th. But the 9th turned on a poor safety shot from the Spaniard, Filler stepping in to clear. The 10th saw Filler break but failed to gain any advantage. Safety play followed, with Ruiz coming out on top, but poor positional play handed the advantage back to the German, who restored his 6-rack cushion. In the 11th, he pushed home his advantage with a straightforward break and run out. This is now the 12th. Commentary from Ted Lerner and Michael McMullen.
So still
shooting.
Yeah, still just the 1 dry break, but he actually made a sound there. You could probably hear it on the replay, indicating that he knew long before the 1 came to rest that it wasn't going to do so in his favour. We mentioned that Sanchez Ruiz didn't do particularly well in the World Masters in Gibraltar last month, lost his opening match. Well, so did Joshua Filler. As number 2 seed, he went straight through to the last 16, the second round, but lost 7-6 to Albin Ocean, who of course he beat earlier in this tournament, and also on his way to the world title.
So will Ruiz down 9-2 decide to go for a risky offensive shot here, or use the 2-8, little wall of balls there as cover.
Extension, please.
Oh, that is just a nightmare result.
He didn't get there. He wanted to get on behind that blue 2 and the black 8 there, so he has left that on.
You mentioned that Filler is a former winner of the China Open. He was the youngest ever winner of that title, in fact, when he claimed it in 2017. $40,000 he picked up, and his total prize money is closing in on $200,000. And when you consider he's only really been a top player for a couple of years, that's not bad going. And of course, he'll sail past that $200,000 mark if he wins the title tomorrow.
Such an incredible talent, the likes of which the pool world hasn't seen in some time.
He knows this could be his time. He's won the world title. I think in many people's eyes, though, this is a bigger one. It's got the history, the prestige. And he knows that most of the main obstacles to him winning this tournament are already out. Still some fine players in there, of course. But he's playing probably better than any of them.
One more for the hill. And in pool parlance, that means one away from victory. One away from a spot in the semifinals.
At the start of the 13th, Joshua Filler broke but struggled with the 1 ball, leaving an opening for Ruiz.
Very good cue action there from Ruiz. So, you know, at 10-2, he can pretty much figure it's going to be a very long shot to come back from this. So perhaps he can relax, play a little loose.
Francisco Sanchez Ruiz is actually quite an accomplished snooker player as well. He entered the Open qualifying for the Gibraltar Open last month, which is a full world ranking professional event. He came through and then had an amazing win over Martin O'Donnell, who's been in a few big quarterfinals of late. And then he played the former world champion, Ken Doherty. He was 3-0 down, but got back to 3-2.
Hold the clock, please.
Only
Phones,
lost 4-2
please.
in the end. So there may be a future
Phones,
for him
please.
of some sort in snooker, where there's a lot more money on offer and a lot more big
Start
money
the clock,
tournaments.
please. Yeah, go ahead,
Well,
sir.
somebody's phone went off in the crowd.
Hold the clock.
It's a common
Start the
occurrence
clock.
these days. Apparently, people can't stay off their phones for more than, what, 28 seconds?
Well, thankfully it happened at 10-2. Imagine if that had happened if this was Hill-Hill. Now this is far from straightforward. No problem potting the 7, but tough to get on the 8.
Extension, please.
Not surprisingly, he's called the extension. He knows if this goes wrong, may well be his last shot in this year's US Open. And okay, he knows he's probably going to lose the match, but just wants to stay out there as long as he can, get as many racks on the board as possible.
Oh, into the 9.
Oh, nicely
Very well
picked
done.
out. Very well done indeed.
Thank you, sir.
So Francisco Sanchez Ruiz battles on.
Welcome back to this opening quarter-final in the US Open. Joshua Filler looked on course for a semi-final place, but his opponent Ruiz has been staging a comeback and could yet cause an upset. This is now the 14th rack.
Okay. Good break for Francisco. Slow down.
Yeah, the cue ball didn't stop in time for him to have a chance at the 2.
Goes for the pot, and he has left it on. So a chance for Ruiz to get another one.
The highlight for him in 2018 was probably the run to the quarter-finals of the World Cup in Shanghai for Spain with David O'Cady. They beat Vietnam and Sweden, and then lost 9-8 in a memorable quarter-final to the second seeds and eventual winners, China.
Extension, please.
Team consisting of Liu Hai Tao and Wu Jiaxing, who may yet be playing each other in the semi-final here.
Well, he's playing well now. Except was a sharp cut on the 3. And he's going to have to put the extension on the cue.
Well, if he does lose, he's really going to regret the start he made to the match. Made so many mistakes, didn't settle in those early racks, went 3-0 down, couldn't do anything about it for the next 3 as he saw Filler break and run out time after time. As you say, he started to play a bit better towards the end of the match, just at a time when it's likely to be too late.
However, that is not a good shot there. Look at the distance he left himself between the cue ball and the orange 5. And he's covered as well, it appears. So he'll have to kick at this. Oh, he got good safety there. Very nice, very well done. That could have easily gone astray. No, he's left that on. So a break finally for Sanchez Ruiz. He should definitely get this point.
Whatever happens, he's certainly been the strongest Spanish performer. David O'Cady would have been much more fancied, but he was beaten in only his second match by Mitch Ellerman. Got through a few rounds on the loser's side, but then lost to Mateusz Sniegocki of Poland. Would have been 2 wins away from the single elimination stage had he won that match. But in the end, he's been outperformed by his friend and compatriot as the top Spaniard. And Francisco Sanchez Ruiz is not out of this US Open yet. He pulls another one back, 2 in a row.
Thank you, sir.
Well, that dry break was actually the first shot of the match. They've both broken well since then, albeit that Sanchez Ruiz hasn't really had many opportunities to show it.
4 break and runs, 9 break and win rack, and 2 fouls from Sanchez Ruiz. It all adds up to a 10-4 scoreline. Well, he did not make a ball, but he has not left a shot for Joshua.
Push out.
It's his first dry break of the match.
So your option?
So push out for filler. Ruiz can decide to shoot it or hand it back.
Reset the clock, please.
And he decides to let filler deal with that mess. Well, he tried to clip that in. As you can see, he went for position on the 2, but now he's left it on. So he's got the 1-up table, 2 is back down table, and some issues with the 6 and 4 ball are tied up. Oh.
Well, he found issues with the 1 in the end, and now he needs a bit of luck, and I don't think he's going to get it.
Well, the only insurance policy would be the 6 and the 4 are married together. You can see Joshua point to that. The key to the rack is breaking up that cluster to develop the 4. Just like that, but There was a few other collisions there, and now he's messed up the 2. So the 4 is now open. Oh, that's a great shot.
Needs the 2 to run a bit more. He's urging it on.
And it does.
Yeah, it's just come far enough past the 8 ball.
That one's worth another look. Very nice. He had to reach all the way over and was able to get the combination.
So a growing possibility that Francisco Sanchez Ruiz is going to lose 11-4. But nothing to feel too bad about. After all, Jason Shaw, the defending champion, was beaten by Filler by exactly the same score just yesterday. Progress has slowed down a bit towards the end of the match, but Filler had done all the work in the early part. He laid the foundations with a fantastic start. And if he is to finish it off here, I'm sure he'll be keeping an eye somewhere on Jeffrey De Luna and Alex Pagulayan, because he would then face the winner of that in the semi-finals tomorrow. So, straightforward from here. It looks to be all over now.
Well, this is another great performance from the young German. Just in time. This is the quarterfinal, so with this 9, he moves into the semifinals here at the US Open.
Yeah, and the World Championship US Open double is still very much on. Joshua Filler raced into a 6-0 lead and never looked to be in danger from there. He beats Francisco Sanchez Ruiz by 11 racks to 4 and is the first man through to the semi-finals in Las Vegas.
Joshua Filler is the first man into the semi-finals of the US Open. His opponent comes from our next quarter-final between Alex Pagulayan and Jeffrey De Luna.